Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today talking about the San Francisco 49ers. As always, talking about the NFL draft yet again, looking at our current roster, seeing which players on our roster right now that we could trade for valuable assets. We talk about the 13th pick, the 31st overall pick, potentially trading those picks down to get more assets, but I believe you can look at the roster right now and maybe snag a second, third, potentially fourth rounder. I don't know. There's a lot of good options that the 49ers can do if they want to find somebody in our current roster to trade to another team. So, yep, going to get the video started. Should be a fun time. Hope you guys do enjoy this video. Love talking about the draft, and it's coming up next week. Exciting time. And then after that, it's going to be the schedule release. I know that's a big event as well for the NFL. Also, going to be talking about the whole roster, seeing which players to start, cut, bench. A popular series from last year. I'll be bringing that back up very soon after the whole schedule ordeal. So, yep, going to get the video started. But before I do, please like and subscribe. That's going to definitely help me out a lot. Click that bell notification to get notified of future videos. Share the channel, share this content with Father Not Faithfuls. Let's get this started. 49ers, which players on the current roster that they could potentially trade before the 2020 NFL draft. Alright, time to talk about the 49ers and the NFL draft right now, seeing which current players on our roster that could potentially be traded from this team to another team. A couple of guys in mind, two wide receivers in particular. I'm going to be talking about them right now, Marquise and Dante Pettis. First, let's talk about Goodwin, one of my favorite players from the 49ers for the past couple of years now. I wish everything could have worked out with him. Him and Jimmy G could have made something special, and we saw that small glimpse of awesomeness in 2017. After that, went through, both had injuries. Goodwin had some personal life stuff going on, so there's a lot of things that we couldn't really control, and he couldn't control himself, and unfortunately never really worked out. But if you want to trade this man, if you want to give some valuable assets in return, I'd say you can probably get maybe a fourth rounder and a late conditional pick next year in 2021. That's probably the compensation I would give for him if I'm another team. I still think he has a little bit left in the tank. I hope he's there emotionally. You know, he has had a lot of personal stuff going on, so you know, if you're trading for him, just be careful with that. But for the most part, you talk about speedy guy, man, this is one of the fastest guys in the NFL. He ran like a 4.27, something ridiculous like that in the 40-yard dash. So he has a lot of potential for teams that need a burner to stretch down the field. This is the perfect guy for a little bit of injury history. I think that's a big concern if you're another team. But if I'm the 49ers, John Lynch, if you're trying to shop this guy, I would try to go for a fourth rounder and a late conditional pick for the talent that he is right now at this stage of his career. Another guy potentially that you could trade is Dante Pettis. I think Kyle Shanahan is fed up with this guy. I don't know how it is publicly or privately, whatever, but publicly doesn't really bode really well for him. You got guys that are emerging that I believe can overshadow him potentially. You got injury guys that are returning. Jalen, Hurd, Trent Taylor. He could be the odd man out. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan and Pettis are going to be the type of guys to get along in 2020. I don't know. It just looks like not bad blood, but just uncomfortableness. And Shanahan is not really happy with him. Would I trade him? I don't know. But if you want to get some nice compensation, you could probably get like a nice third rounder. And I think that would be a nice compensation right there if you're the 49ers for him. I feel like with the receiving core that they might potentially get in the first round, potentially Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, or Jerry from Alabama, the writing could be on the wall for Pettis, and you can also get some draft value for him. So it really depends on what Shanahan is feeling about him. I don't know if he's feeling really good or feeling any better about him. 2019, he was pretty much in the doghouse. He had some really nice moments, like very small, nice moments, but other than that, he wasn't really used that much, and there's probably a big reason why that he wasn't used that much. Also, the emergence of Emmanuel Sanders, that definitely really didn't give him a lot of playing time, and that's really disappointing for a second rounder. I want to give him another chance personally, but if Shanahan's not really feeling him anymore, then you probably got to trade him away and get a nice little compensation value for him, potentially a third rounder and maybe another pick next year, and the 49ers could package another pick like a fourth or fifth rounder with their assets to trade Pettis to another team to get a third rounder or something like that. And that's what I give for him because he's still a young player and he can still have some good value for another team. Another player that could be a dark horse guy that I don't think he's going to get traded, but he might get traded, is Matt Breda. He did sign his 1-year tender deal to come back to the 49ers. I would love to have him back in San Francisco, but a little bit of questions about him. Can he stay healthy? Is he a fumbling machine? Because he has been doing a little bit of a turnover thing for the past year now. In 2019, he had a couple of very costly ones for the 49ers, and Shanahan didn't really like that, and he didn't really play a lot in the playoffs. It was mostly Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert. Those two guys were the bedrock, and you have other guys like Jeff Wilson Jr., who's willing to step up as well. So Breda, he has a lot of competition going on. The 49ers, they have a very good system, so essentially they could really plug anybody in to the system and do really well. The thing I like about Breda, if I were to keep him, definitely is his speed. He's one of the fastest guys in the NFL. If you timed him on his running game and what have you, I love him personally, but the 49ers, I don't know if Bobby Turner and Kyle Shanahan are really feeling this guy as much. I mean, it's up to them what they think, but if you want to trade him, you could probably get like a third round or two for him. I still think he has a lot of fuel left in his tank. I mean, he's a fast guy, so that's going good for the 49ers if they do want to trade him. But for the most part, I think the 49ers, they keep him on hold for another year. I would definitely keep the running back intact the way that they have right now with Mostert, Coleman, Breda, and Wilson, because those three guys, those 3-4 guys combined total, they really make a big difference. They did a really good job for this team in 2019. I expect them to do really well in 2020 with the great offensive line. So, yep, those three guys, in my opinion, they could be candidates for trading. Another guy potentially is CJ Beathard. I don't know what's going on with that. Is he going to be traded some way, shape, or form? But is his playability, I don't know. I mean, we saw him in 2017. He showed a little bit of promise with Brian Hoyer when he benched him. And in 2018, when Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, Beathard was pretty much the starter. Didn't really do too much. It was a little bit disappointing. I thought he was going to get better after Jimmy G got hurt. But then Nick Mullins took over. He was the man in San Francisco. And that's another thing with Mullins. He will not be getting traded to any other team. The 49ers have shown no interest in trading him to any other team, and that's probably for the best in case something happens to Garoppolo in any way, shape, or form. You have Mullins. I think he has a really good potential to be a great NFL quarterback some way, shape, or form. You don't want to lose a guy like that. But Beathard, I mean, if you want to trade him, you probably get maybe like a 5th or 6th rounder, to be honest with you, because he's not really the starting type quarterback. It's unfortunate to say that, but we've seen him, his sample size in San Francisco. A little bit disappointed. I wish he could have worked out well. He was a 3rd rounder. He was Kyle Shanahan's project, and they didn't really work out too well. So, yep, really those 3 plus 1 guy, I believe they could get traded from the 49ers to another team. Defensively, looks pretty much intact. I don't know who you would trade. And the defensive side of the ball, everybody looks pretty good for the most part. But yeah, offensively, you can get some value with the guys that I just mentioned right now. That's pretty much it, you guys. Please let me know what you guys think about the draft so far, and if any players, who should they trade. I like to hear what you guys to say in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That's going to help me out a lot. I'll be catching you guys up probably tomorrow on a Tuesday. I'll see y'all then. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day. Hot boys.